Alright guys, you know what it is. We're finally jumping back into one of the very first playthroughs I ever did and then never finished for the channel. Doom Eternal. By the time this comes out, the Summer Games Fest has probably been a few weeks ago, but I want to strike while the iron's hot. And I really liked Doom Eternal at the time, and when they announced that the Doom The Dark Ages was coming out, when I heard like the rumor that it was coming out, I wasn't too sold on it, honestly, because Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal was progressing the Doom storyline forward, and then doing a prequel series going backwards in time is always like makes me roll my eyes, because like I already know what's going to happen in the sequel. Why would I care what happens in the prequels? But the trailers kind of sold me on it. I mean, they somehow made the Doom Slayer even more badass than he originally was in the first two games, and the opening of the trailer talks about, before he was, the Doomslayer, he was the super weapon for gods and kings, and that's a really cool line to open up with, because they allude to some of that lore in this game specifically with some of like the throwaway lines they talk about. And the gameplay, again, you would say like, oh, if it's Doom the Dark Ages, he's not going to have his advanced weaponry, he's not going to have the advanced suit. But I mean, his suit in Doom the Dark Ages looks even better than the Praetor Mark II in this game. He has like that wolf cloak, he has like this cool Captain America buzzsaw shield. In this game, he has like, the arm blade and like the little Predator cannon on his shoulder. I mean, they basically made him into like a Thor Captain America combo, because he has like a flail or a hammer inside the trailer as well. His weapons look really archaic, but like in a cool way. He still has a minigun technically with that like skull mulcher thing, and he has like a, he still has like a railgun, except it shoots giant bone spikes instead of, a high velocity projectile. And I mean, there's still dragons in that too. In the trailer, we see combat with a dragon, and we see him taking down like a titan. In this game, I mean, I made a joke way back when, in the original playthrough I did for this channel a couple years ago. Obviously, it looks like the last time I played this was back in 2020. I made the original joke that I wanted to fight a Titan demon, and we never got a chance to do that in Doom Eternal. But in the trailer, we actually get to pilot one of those giant mech suits, and we do fight a Titan demon, and that looks really cool too. So, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about prequel stories, but I mean, it looks really cool, and I'm excited to play it. I'll definitely be doing a playthrough for it on the channel when we eventually get to it. Right now, we're going to jump into a playthrough. I want to do a full playthrough of this game. I never finished the OG playthrough, and I don't plan on like adding to that playlist, because that was way back when I wasn't doing content at a higher quality. My audio is probably not very good. My cutting's not very good, and there's definitely going to be a night and day difference between then and now. And now I want to jump in and do a real playthrough for the very first time for the channel, for like the modern day. We're not going to go through this playthrough looking for all the secrets and looking for all the upgrades and stuff like that. I've already done all that with all of this down here. We're not going to do that. We're literally going to go in, and we're going to just turn on the cheat codes. I mean, be that what it may. We're just going to turn on the cheat codes that gives us our upgraded weapons, our upgraded suit, our upgraded armor. I'm not looking to, do a bunch of grinding off screen. I want to play for fun. I'm here to play for fun and to have, a nice, lore recap for when Doom the Dark Ages eventually comes out. Then we'll do a playthrough when we're looking for all the secrets. We're looking to upgrade our suit in ways in that game. My only other caveat about that game and this game is that I'm worried that when Doom 2016 came out, it established a lore for the Doomslayer, and it established kind of like a timeline, and then when Doom Eternal came out, it kind of retconned some of the previous lore and the timeline as well. It kind of just glosses over all the stuff that happens in 2016, and if you don't really pay attention to what the story is, or if you never even played 2016, you would never even know what happened in 2016 based off what's in this game. The Doomslayer is obviously says very few words. There's very little story and lore behind this. It's almost like a Dark Souls kind of game, where like the lore and the story is left to your interpretation. You can look for, codex entries and stuff like that to find out more about the lore. But I'm just hoping that it's just consistent in canon what you learn about the Doomslayer in this game carries over to the prequel game that'll be coming out, you know, next year or whatever, when it eventually gets released. I'm hoping that it doesn't retcon anything. I mean, it's kind of hard to be excited for the bosses. I mean, the gameplay looks so good. It's kind of hard to be excited for that game when I know that this game ends with us beating the Dark Lord. Spoiler alerts, the DLC covers us fighting the Dark Lord at some point and beating him. Doom the Dark Ages, I mean, for what I know, the opening text makes it sound like it is a prequel, but it very well could be a sequel that takes place with, like, the Dark Lord, you know, falling and Earth having to get a fresh restart. Maybe it does take place in the future, where, like, the future, like, basically humanity is starting all over from scratch again. A lot of the demons in that, in the trailer, don't look like the demons from Doom Eternal. Some demons do get a visual upgrade from Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal, and they might get another visual upgrade from Doom Eternal to Doom the Dark Ages, so maybe that's why they look a little bit different. Obviously, we're going back in time. I would be down if it was just, like, going into the future or something. Maybe the Doomslayer is just once again set off as a weapon against, you know, the hordes of hell or something like that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see when we get closer to that and see how the story actually progresses. Anyways, first things first, we have all the runes unlocked, which are our special abilities. All Praetor Suit perks are unlocked. Basically, we can use the dashes as much as we want, and we're a little bit tougher. Demons burst into confetti, full body jibs, lower jibs. Yeah, I mean, why not? And then ADF. I think it means I don't know for all. I don't know what that means. All weapons are unlocked and mastered, and all equipment is unlocked, so we don't have to, like, hunt down for equipment and stuff like that. Again, we're playing for fun. We're not here to struggle. I'm not necessarily going to put it on super easy. I'll at least put it on, you know, difficult at least. Did we put it on difficult? Or, I think hurt me...
Against all the evil that
we'll check.
Can conjure. All the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
And that's the mark of the Slayer, which is really cool. That's Mars, where the first game took place for the majority of it. Giant hellglyphs scorch like continents, which was always a really cool visual from space. And then, weirdly enough, we have, like, the Watchtower of Doom. And I was always wondering how he got a hold of that. Never specifies where he got it from. He just showed up with it somehow, and I was always kind of frustrated with that hand-wavy explanation.
Nearly 60% of our planet has been consumed by the invaders.
We have the Hell Priest signal locked in. The target is marked, but the signal will not hold for long.
For it is he that they fear, not man. For his army.
Using the classic Doom skin, obviously, for cool reasons. Take us there, man. We have our boy Vega from the last game, too. He's the AI that we saved from Mars that helped us take down the demons then. He helps us with it now. Although he proves to be... Well, we'll get to that when we get to that. He plays a bigger part. He's not just an AI. Doom Eternal. See, and what a very nice opening credits crawl for Doom. And we just start. Before we go any further, though, we're gonna double check to see exactly what our difficulty is set to. Settings, gameplay difficulty. Okay, it's hurt me plenty, so it's set to like medium difficulty. We could go higher if we really want to. I mean, if we can't make it through, I think we can set it to ultra violence. I think if we somehow can't make it through this with all the cheat codes we have turned on, there's our compromise. I won't play it on normal. I'll play it on hard, and that way we can actually, you know, try to have a little bit of a challenge. I want to check one other thing, but I don't want to pause the game, so we'll be right back here in a quick second. Just give me one moment. I was checking, I was checking to see if there was, like, compatibility options or something like that in the Xbox, like, UI settings or whatever, because some older games, like Gears of War 3, has a FPS boost, and when I bought this game, I think I still had, like, the Xbox Series X, or no, I had, like, the Xbox One and not the Xbox Series S. I wasn't sure if there was, like, an FPS boost or a screen fidelity boost between then and now, but I guess there's not. It looks like it's just... Looks like this is playing at the highest frame rate we can give it.
I will mark it on your HUD.
I forget how to play for a second. It might take me a second. Ow. Ooh. Oh man, it's gonna be really fluid. I'm trying. Found some armor. Oh. There we go. I was gonna say, like, I don't really remember how to do a lot of the stuff in the game. Facing a lot of zombies and imps and, like, corrupted security guards, so very low-level enemies to start with. I don't know exactly what we have access to. Okay, so up on the D-pad is swapping our weapon mods. Ooh, left is Crucible. That is changing our grenade types. Down is to see where we're going for the directional pad. Okay, so here we go. I was wondering, like, how do we get to the arsenal? Upgrade quick, rack, bigger booms, mastery 5-shot. Salvo extender. Okay, so we have all this stuff. So again, like, we have all these explosive, environment, frag grenades, ice bomb fundamentals. We have everything upgraded. Some of the runes I kind of want to change out, just because once you're going here from further away, increase how long enemies stay staggered. Enemies killed by equipment or while under the influence of equipment will decrease the charge rate. That's a pretty good one. Drop health. Greatly increase movement control while in the air. Perform glory kills faster. We don't necessarily want to perform them faster. We kind of want to be able to see those people dying. Sentinel crystals. I mean, we're super strong right now. We have, like, again, we have everything unlocked, but I think even before I even turned on those codes, I'm pretty sure we had everything unlocked to start with. That's the Unmaker, the BFG. Mobile turret. Customized weapon. Oh, I forgot we had skins for most of these guns. All right, I just wanted to get an idea of what we can do. Open. I'm here.
My soul remains guarded. You can't.
I never liked the idea that the Hell Priests were trying to exploit a loophole where the Doomslayer wouldn't hurt them or attack them. I mean, it's if you're confused right now, it's because you're supposed to be confused. You're not really meant to understand what the main conflict is so far. You kind of learn what it really is later in the game, and I kind of won't spoil that if you want to organically figure it out as we go. But just know that, in my opinion, I don't like the fact that the Hell Priests were exploiting a loophole.
Hell Priest has been terminated. The demonic consumption of Earth has been reduced by 36.8%. There are 2 Hell Priests remaining.
Oh man, my aim is not very good right now, but hey, we'll get better at it. Gonna teach you the basics on a traversal. I think the 5-shot is having like 5 of the shotgun rounds. The Arachnotrons are kind of an upgrade of the Spider Mastermind from the previous game. Man, they stayed stunned for so long. There we go. And obviously, when you come up here, this would have been the first time you picked up the assault rifle for the first time. Demons are fighting each other for some reason. I never really understood why they would do that. I mean, are they just fighting each other because that's just what demons do? Is there some sort of war happening? I don't really know. Even the game is not necessarily telling us that. I really like their like damage system they had for the enemies as well, where you can like jib them and like shred Oh no! Did I fall off the map? Oh, you can jib them and like shred their armor and their flesh off of their enemy models. I think that at the time this was something very new, and not necessarily like it was like a big selling feature from the previous Doom game to this game. I mean, you could probably shred meat off of the bones of some of the enemies in the previous game, but in this game, they really made it like a huge selling point. You have like the Plasma Blast to push them back. really cool architecture and like creature design and atmosphere design for sure. Picked up a yellow key card. It's okay, it's family friendly. We're killing. He has blue blood. He doesn't have red blood. We don't need health. We have plenty of armor, actually. I don't think they shredded our armor once. Again, this minigun is in the next game as well, but it's like a skull mulcher, and I'm like, whoa, that looks like really metal to have for a weapon. Ooh, I forgot we had this. Super shotgun. These giant mech warrior things. I think we'll actually get the chance to actually pilot one in the next game. Maybe not that particular model, but something different.
The UAC would like to thank you for your support during this transition.
Oh god, I don't have ammo for anything.
Continues to inspire us.
Interesting, I'm not sure how we get up there. Definitely gonna have to come out this way. Oh, I get it now. I'm like, how do we get there? Here, I was wondering, like, how do we... I was getting worried for a second. I was like, did I really not remember? Tentacles that come out of the ground. There's a new enemy type too. Minigun, for why not? Oh, all the main demons are dead, so like the barrier drops, even though there's zombies still. I don't know. I mean, we're playing this on super difficult, but maybe it's just because our armor and our health is so high. I expected even with like on Hell on Earth that we would still be taking relatively good amounts of damage. But we're not really taking a tremendous amount of damage. But I wonder if it's because we obviously have our armor is super beefy and we're not meant to take a whole bunch of damage right now.
She is inside that demonic citadel. I will mark her location on your HUD.
And again, we're not really told who or what we're looking for right now. We're just being
The
told.
gathering of hell priests is located just above your location. My scans indicate there is a lift at the center of this facility.
They really did a number on Earth. Ascend the Citadel chamber. And it's very mysterious as to what we're doing, why we're doing it. And I get it, Doom isn't meant to have a whole bunch of story elements. It's mostly meant to be like a arcadey shooter. But man, I would like a little bit of story where I wouldn't have to like where I wouldn't have to infer so much. And I think this just ends the level.
Maker is present at this gathering, but when outside of her domain, she is by all accounts indestructible.
How can this be? No man can pass through the gate. It is... This stops nothing. The sacrament of this world to the great Khan Maker will be made, and the energy will be restored once again. As it is written, from the souls of the non-believers. You will not save them from their judgment.
And they piss off when he does that.
You go too far this time. You cannot interfere. This is humanity's chance to repent, to give service to us. You cannot resist the will of the Khan Maker.
Activating the portal now.
For it was you who was meant to enforce it.
And again, like, we're not really told what we're supposed to be doing or what the whole... what this is all about. It's kind of just inferred that we are to figure it out as you go. And again, I appreciate Doom being that way. I know a lot of people really like it when Doom Eternal, or Doom doesn't provide a whole lot of context. They just want you to figure it out and, you know, go with the punches. Returning to the campaign, you will save what you have earned, but abandon the current selected mission. Are you sure you want to leave? Yeah, accept. Fortress of Doom, yeah, you're right. I mean, this place is a really cool set piece as well.
Beyond Maker. Pure Maker technology. Inspired by Sentinel weaponry and refined by their divine intellect. Its destructive potential is staggering.
And again, a lot of the collectibles are unlocked in here. I mean, if we were to play through this campaign fresh, a lot of these set pieces and a lot of these locations inside of the Fortress of Doom would obviously be locked off to us. We wouldn't have access to a lot of this place. I doesn't explain what the Fortress of Doom really is, as far as I know, according to the lore. You're kind of just meant to just infer that it's just like our... it's just our Fortress of Solitude. That's why it's called like the Fortress of Doom. There's a huge practice arena in the basement. I forget if like in the basement is like our room, quote unquote. There's a giant like Sentinel war, what is it called? Like a Sentinel war suit down here too. I'm sure these were like areas where unlockable points were stored. I forget where our playroom is, like where our Slayer like has all of his collectibles and stuff like that. The music in Doom Eternal is always really good. It's never been a bad soundtrack for sure. Unless it's like right here and I'm just like not understanding that it's right there, but no, that's not it. Here we go. I was gonna say, we have like our Slayer's like room or whatever, where he has like his arsenal is held. And this is always really cool to see too, all the different weapons. I don't know if there was any Easter eggs in this. The bunny was a set piece for whatever reason. There are some trinkets in here from like his past, because you see like warhammers and stuff like that. You see like really old school type of weaponry in here too. This is like his workbench, his guitars, all of our little toys. We collected all the toys throughout our campaign, for sure. And I think when these toys in question are... yeah, they're just the models for all the different characters in this game. So, Slayer, obviously, this is his model. Arachnotron. I mean, the models in this game are very good. But if you go on YouTube and do like the one-to-one comparison between the models in this game and the models in the last game, in Doom 2016, they very much had a more horror vibe to them. While in this game, it's definitely more of an arcadey, kind of almost like space shooter type of vibe to it. But some of the models are very impressive. Baron of Hell. I actually prefer some of the older models in the previous game than what was in this game. The Baron of Hell was like my favorite demon from the last game. At this one doesn't. I don't like the grayscale with like the lava and the blades. I think that's asking for a little too much. He was plenty imposing with his original look. Cacodemon. They added a little bit too much personality here with his eyeball. Carcass. Different new enemy type that they added was more of a support demon. Cue Ball, same. I think they had this in the last game too. Cyber Mancubus. I think these Mancubuses are supposed to be more original to like the old, like shareware version of Doom. These guys, the old Mancubus look more like monsters, while these ones look a little bit more comical. The Doom Hunters are really cool. The Doom Hunters are from like an ancient time when like they were once like the greatest threat to the ancient Sentinel Knights race, so maybe we'll get a chance to see what these guys look like unaugmented. That would be interesting to see what they looked like before in the past and why they were so feared then. Dread Knights are just, you know, upgraded Hell Knights. Gargoyles. We might see more fantasy monsters as well. Maybe not so many demons, and maybe more fantasy creatures. The Gladiator was a boss from the campaign that we'll eventually fight. Maybe we'll see him in the past as well. I'm not too sure. Maybe we're the one that gives him that eye patch or whatever. Hell Knights. I like the look of the Hell Knights from the 2016 game. Weirdly enough, that was like one of the only designs they kept from like the Doom 3, like the old 360 Doom one, where it was really just flat out a horror game. That Hell Knight design somehow carried over to the Hell Knight design of the Doom 2016 model. I think they universally agreed that was one of the few designs that was actually really good. Him getting eyes out of nowhere just doesn't seem right. I preferred him when he actually was sightless. The Imps look pretty good. Con Maker. Sure, why not? Giant Angel Woman. Lost Souls. Normal Mancubus. I mean, sure as well. I don't know how many of these enemy types are going to carry over to the previous game. I'm assuming Marauders will still be in Doom: The Dark Ages, except he's obviously not going to... He might look a little bit different, but I'd be surprised if the Marauders weren't present in that game. Maker Drones, so Angels. Mecha Zombies. Weirdly enough, Doom: The Dark Ages takes place in the past, but there's still a lot of the demons and a lot of the enemy types in that game still have like cybernetics, so I'm not too sure. I mean, I know Hell technology, while ancient, is still super advanced, and maybe that's how they explain they have like railguns and stuff like that. Man, the Mecha Zombies really look like they're they really look like they're like creatures from the new Killing Floor, right? They look like they're straight from the Killing Floor zombies now, or I guess the Killing Floor Zeds. Interesting how much they've took from that. Pain Elementals are kind of like the heavier Cacodemons. Pinkies, mid-tier zombie, or mid-tier demon tank. Kind of a mid-tier assassin type of demon. I keep wanting to call them zombies. Another mid-tier zombie. Soldier Blaster, fodder enemy, for sure. Some sort of, it's definitely some sort of, like, soldier that died fighting off the demon hordes. Soldier shielded, definitely another soldier got unlucky enough against the demons. Spectre, invisible pinkies, which, I mean, pretty cool. Tyrants. Again, I don't know if we'll get a chance to see these demons in the past when they are unaugmented, because this thing is like half machine and half demon. It'd be kind of cool to see some of these demons fight them like in their unaugmented forms, and then as you mess them up, or as like the hordes of hell need to upgrade, they like actually start infusing them with technology. That'd be kind of cool. The Whiplashes, really cool demon archetype as well. Zombie Earth. Icon of Sin, the giant zombie, or demon. Like, he's basically the boss of the vanilla game. I don't know if we'll necessarily see how the Icon of Sin gets made, or how far into the past we're gonna go for those, for the prequel series, but it'll be interesting to see. And we're all the way back to the Slayer again. I'm surprised they don't have any models from the, what's it called? God, I'm forgetting what it's called. I'm surprised they don't have any collectibles from the DLC. The DLC weapons and armor aren't here right now. Man, I forget how cool Doom Eternal does look. It's a very stylized game, arcadey for sure. I mean, I'm kind of hoping it... Well, this might be a hot take, but I kind of like the look from, like, 2016. I actually don't like the whole arcadey vibe. I know Doom is supposed to be an arcade shooter, but I was kind of hoping for more of a grounded... I know in Doom... The Dark Ages, we are not going to have access to our advanced weaponry or our advanced weapons and armor. So I'm kind of hoping that in the prequel, we kind of have less of an arcadey HUD and kind of more of a grounded, sort of grungy sort of HUD. You know, kind of what we had from like the 2016 game. But I mean, I'm still happy and having a good time. I think we've explored the Fortress of Doom long enough. Update available. All right, I guess.
This is the Resistance Network.
Oh, right.
In what will hopefully be our final broadcast. To all the people of Earth, to anyone listening.
Oh, this kind
The
of.
Horde has been defeated. The beast.
Oh, I forget that this kind of just like puts us back into like the Tower of Doom with like God, how do I explain it? It kind of throws us into the Tower of Doom with God, I'm trying to explain it, but they throws us into the Tower of Doom with like assuming that you've beaten the rest of the game all the way through already. It's saying like demonic corruption at the very top, but I'm not too sure what that is implying. I wonder if that means like you could potentially get invaded by people. I'm not too sure. Interesting. Interesting.
By Arc scientists as the icon of sin.
All right, we're not going to pay attention to that anymore right now. I mean, I want to keep going for the playthrough for Doom Eternal. I think I am going to cut this episode short, and maybe we'll do kind of like a montage of... no, I don't even know if I want to do that necessarily. Maybe I just wanted to do... I don't know if I'm going to do a whole playthrough for this game. I mean, as much as I want to explore all of the cool things that are showing up in Doom right now, especially for Doom the Dark Ages that comes out. I think even without the cheats and with me just starting a brand new game fresh, it's going to be a long playthrough. And honestly, when I'm going back through and playing through a game that I've already vested in a lot of time in already to begin with, it's hard for me to just come back in and be passionate about it. I kind of just want to have... I know I said at the very beginning of this episode that I was probably going to do a whole playthrough series for this game. But now that we've kind of gone through, the first level, and I'm kind of thinking to myself about doing this playthrough for the rest of the series, it's going to be kind of a hard sell even for myself, just because it doesn't, click with me. I don't necessarily think we need to. I mean, I would like to, just because I like to think that I would... God, how do I explain this? My heart's just not in it, guys. I don't know if my heart's going to be in it to do a full playthrough for this entire game. I've already beaten it through once already. I've even gone through it on master mode and the master levels when I was playing this religiously when it first came out. I don't really see myself going through, because there's not much of a challenge left. Even if I just start a new game with no upgrades, nothing at all, it's just going to seem like a slog, and I don't want another long series playthrough on the channel. I mean, the campaign by itself is 12 missions, and that's not even including the DLC. And for a first-person shooter, my mind is going to go numb trying to do this playthrough. And that's one of the things from the original Doom Eternal release that I remember playing this game. It was one of those games that you would play for a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, and you'd have to stop and just take a break. The bloodshed, and not even because it was an overwhelming game, but it exhausts you. But it exhausts you in a good way. But for me, for a YouTube channel, I don't necessarily want to be that exhausted, because I already have to edit and render and upload and make these videos and make thumbnails and all that stuff for this to begin with. It just seems it's I'm doubling my work more or less. So, I said at the very beginning that I wanted to do maybe a full playthrough for this. Now that I'm a little bit more sober and kind of the nostalgia has hit me and gone, I'm kind of let's just say that when Doom the Dark Ages comes out, we'll do a full playthrough for that game, for sure. I really like Doom. I'm hoping that for Doom the Dark Ages, they impress me or they get me invested in the prequel story. It's hard for anybody who understands storytelling to get invested in prequels, because if you're playing sequel games and then the newest game in the series is a prequel, but then you already know in the back of your mind, you know exactly how this has to end. It has to end with all the pieces lining up so that it makes sense in the context of the original timeline for the first game. That's, how can it surprise you with stuff like that? The only way that it can surprise me is if they include a lot more context and a lot more lore in the prequel that kind of fills in the gaps for the sequels. That's the only thing I can do. If they kind of leave it you know, a lot of open-ended questions and a lot of open-ended lore inquiries, and you kind of have to piece it together. And even then, you still don't get the full picture. It kind of, you know, just seems like, you know, why bother? Why not just make a sequel at that point if you're just going to do that? That way, no one needs to get invested. I mean, I don't know if Doom the Dark Ages, I mean, it could just be a name. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take place in the past. It could be taking place into the future. There's no rule that says the Dark Ages can't be something in the future, because maybe at the end of Doom Eternal with humanity, you know, conquering the demons, maybe something else happened and he had to be brought out of stasis again to come fight the demon hordes once more, but like technology has regressed in a way where there's not these fancy weapon lasers and stuff like that. There's something different. Or maybe he gets awoken in like a different timeline. Spoiler alert, but in this game, the Doom Slayer is the Marine. I mean, there's multiple timelines for the Doom franchise, and the Slayer is from like the old N64 era games, where like the old PC games, where like he was brought here via some sort of teleportation or some sort of weird accident, and then that's how we get this version of the Doom Slayer. So maybe that something like that is going to happen again, where the Doom Slayer from the way that this story ends, this Doom Slayer gets pulled into a different alternate timeline, and that's how it starts all over again. Like, it's both a prequel in the sense that it's taking place in the past, but a sequel where the story keeps going. It doesn't restart, or we're not rewinding. The clock keeps going forward, but we've been brought into a different type of past for an alternate timeline. Then I can get invested. You know what I'm saying? Then we can probably do something else, where maybe the lore can get rewritten and, you know, changed in a way where it's actually interesting. Those are my thoughts and my hopes for the Doom Eternal. When this video comes out, again, it's probably going to be a one-off. I don't know if we're going to necessarily do more. I mean, if this video gets a lot of traction and people are like, yo, dude, you should really do a Doom Eternal video, maybe I'll do another video. If this gets, you know, 100, maybe not even 100 likes, maybe like 100 views, maybe we'll do a Doom Eternal playthrough. Otherwise, we're probably going to end it with just, you know, just a one-off. I just want to have something on the record that says that, hey, I saw the Doom Eternal trailer, or Doom the Dark Ages trailer. I'm really into it. I can't wait for it to come out. That's going to be one of those games that I'm looking forward to way down the road when it eventually comes out. That'll be awesome. Be sure to subscribe, because if you love Doom content and you want to see more Doom content, we'll do more Doom content when Doom the Dark Ages comes out. Leave a like if you guys haven't already. It helps with the algorithm and it helps let me know that you guys enjoy these type of videos. If you guys want to see more Doom Eternal playthrough, leave a like down below and let me know. If it gets at least, you know, 5 likes or, you know, 100 views, whichever one comes first, I might do another one. Maybe we'll just keep going. Anyways, guys, other than that, we will catch you guys all in the next one.